Welcome to Devotion to Travel by Dream Vacations. Today we're going to talk about a recent European vacation where we took Norse Airways from LAX to Paris. Let's get started. All right, so we arrived at LAX and we checked in at Terminal 2. However, we did not depart from Terminal 2, so there is some movement involved when you're using Norse Airways, so keep that in mind. So upon check-in, the staff was very adamant about sticking to the size and the weight limitations. So premium has a weight limitation of 32 pounds and economy has a weight limitation of 22 pounds. If you are over, you're going to have to get rid of some stuff. So they were very adamant at LAX. So just bear that in mind. All right, so once we were able to check our main luggage, we then had to take a bus over to the Bradley terminal, but we weren't going to the normal Bradley terminal. We were going to an annex building. So we got to get on a bus, go on the tarmac, all the way over to this annex building. So when we were there, they did have a nice setup for boarding, as you can see here. So basically, you line up, one per row there, and they use isometrics to verify that you're you, and then they'll let you board the plane. So on the outbound flight, we chose to go premium economy, and then on the return, we are just going to do economy to check out the two. So for premium economy, we figured since this is going to be an overnight flight, we were leaving around, I think, 10 o'clock at night. Probably best to try and get a good night's rest on the outbound. So that way, when we arrive in France, it will be, relaxed, ready to go. So we opted for the premium economy on the outbound. Premium economy, they do get to board for your economy class. Um, at least, for the most part, you can pay extra if you want to just board economy. Um, but here we go. So there's around 50 seats in the premium economy space. This flight was not sold out, but it was on the return. But just bear in mind, you never know. So we were in row 5A and B, and we had plenty of space. Look at all that room that we have for our bags. So all of our carry-on was able to go up above us, our jackets, backpacks, everything that we wanted to stow, we could. So that was great. I had plenty of legroom. You can see my feet kicking there. And then they have the TV screens are actually in the armrest when you're in premium. Um, so you can charge your devices with the USB port. The library of stuff that they have is not the most up to date, but hey, it gets you through the night. And they did have footrests and a nice recline for the seats, so you're able to chill out and sleep if you wanted to. Okay, so we were off. So we had no issues, with flight delays or lost luggage or any kind of hiccup, which is very nice. It was a smooth takeoff. It was actually a smooth flight all the way. I think for the most part, I think maybe we had some turbulence as we were coming into France, but for the most part, everything was good. So once we hit, 10,000 feet or whatever, then they started food service. So in premium economy, you are served two meals. So we had our first meal just right after takeoff. So it was like basically a late dinner. So I had the beef stew, which you see in the upper left, and then Fernando had a chicken dish. And then the second meal we got basically a couple hours right before we were supposed to land in Paris, and that was pizza. So we both got the pizza, and it's airline food, so what can you say? It filled a hole. Okay, so here we are. We're arriving in France. Charles de Gaulle Airport is a very large airport, just kind of like on the outskirts of Paris. So we landed there. It was a bit overcast and drizzly. What I wasn't expecting is we had to go down the stairs and into a bus um, when we arrived. So that was not expected. So not too much fun, to got your check or not your check luck, but your carry-on bags, and then you got to hold on to the stairwell. It's all wet. Um, so definitely, I was not expecting that, but that's basically how it is at the France airport. Going through immigration was real easy. You just kind of scan your passport and it lets you through. Except, for me, of course, my passport wasn't working, so I had to go actually talk to somebody. And then, since we were on um, a smaller airline, we arrived at Terminal 3, so it's not, again, we didn't have the jetway or anything like that, so the terminal's kind of removed. Um, so, you get your bags, and then since we were going to be taking the train, we had to walk over to Terminal 2, which I don't know, probably took 5-10 minutes, but no biggie. Um, and then we were able to catch the train from there. So that was our premium experience. So for coming home, we did the economy from Charles de Gaulle to LAX. And you can see this time they at least had the stairway covered, even though it wasn't raining, but that's fine. So, Fernando lugged all our bags for me. This is what it looks like inside. So it was a 333 across. I had the window seat. Fernando had the aisle, and we were hoping to keep the middle seat free, but this was a full flight. We weren't able to upgrade to premium. We had somebody in between us. But since we were pretty much taking off in the daytime, wasn't as critical to have the full on reclining seat and all that. So this still worked out for us. And here we are. We're off. So all in all, Norse was fine. If you're looking for an economical way to get to Europe, this is definitely something to consider. I would suggest strongly for the overnight portion at least to do the premium economy because, it is a much nicer experience. The economy, with the bag restrictions and the weight restrictions, we were kind of paranoid about that. We had our portable luggage scale, but it's just, nerve-wracking. So at least with the premium, we had a little bit more leeway. You get the nicer service. Um, but all in all, Norse is definitely something to consider if you're looking for a relatively inexpensive, well, I shouldn't say inexpensive, but if you're looking for an economical way to get to Europe, prices going to Europe, especially from California, are astronomical. So every little bit helps. The upgrading to the premium, though, it's nice to arrive, relaxed and refreshed, and it was a nicer experience, definitely than going in the economy. We did look at the economy at night when we were flying over, and people were legs in the middle of the aisleway. I mean, it did not look like fun at all. So yeah, definitely, if you can afford it, go for the premium, at least for the night portion. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us. Thanks for watching. Be sure to like, subscribe, add any comments or questions below, and stay tuned for more videos. Talk to you later. Bye.